So once again, very good day to everybody. Yes, this has been a topic of concern because whenever you are talking about AI, you should, you should, you should know about this one. AIaaS. Okay, AI as a service. Okay, so this we are going to discuss about the future of AIaaS. Of course, it's especially for you, my dear students and young researchers, and you can reach me at dr.christoananth@gmail.com. So for every session, I don't feel tired to thank God. So every time I thank God for giving me this golden opportunity to deliver this useful session, to share my knowledge among my fellow national, international participants, students, and young researchers. In today's session, we will discuss about a short introduction to AI as a service, and then we discuss about how no massive investment is actually required towards this AIaaS. Okay, and we discuss about the compound annual growth rate, the projected CAGR with AIaaS, and why you have to use AI as a service, and of course the application areas, about the challenges, about the procurement model of AI in Python, so that we would be discussing. Of course, we'll summarize AI AAS in today's session. So whenever you are going to discuss about AI as a service, we discuss about two major areas, which is ML and DL, machine learning and deep learning. Okay. So of course, it takes some time. It takes much of the effort. It takes some investment, some knowledge sharing, some maintenance, some infrastructure that is needed to require to build AI applications. Of course, big companies have started to go into AI, and of course, with the previous topic about cloud computing, definitely AI has been revolutionizing each and every sector. So even with a limited budget, even AI is offering several opportunities for the people, for the businesses. Of course, it is transforming every life event. Of course, there is no massive investment with regards to building the core processes. Whether you take in the case of management risk, that is very reduced management risk, even reduced investment risk, even the development time is very less. Of course, production, profit, economic concerns are huge with the case of AI as a service. But the disadvantage is the dependence on the service providers, internet service providers. So that is the major disadvantage. So we have to depend on the ISP, internet service provider. So that is the major thing. So whenever you're talking about AIaaS, actually in the beginning, it is the third party which is providing all the things. For example, if I bring about a AI enabled Google Classroom, or maybe AI enabled examination, AI enabled test for you, of course your institute or maybe your organization cannot organize on its own. You have to give it to a third party, and the third party will organize for you. Of course, the third party is going to charge for you. But if you know the models, if you know the processes, then definitely you can do it on your own. Okay, so this is the projected CAGR, compound annual growth rate, with the AIaaS. So it was around 2.3 billion in back in 2017, and it is expected to reach $77 billion by 2025, with a projected CAGR of 56.7% during the period of 2018 to 2025. So you can see in the graph from 2020 to 2028. So we had $40.46 billion. So it will be expected to rise by 292.58, approximately 5 times. Yes, sorry, 6 times, sorry, 7 times. 7 times it is going to expected to increase by 2028. So the major players, the key players of this AIaaS are IBM. Of course, we discuss about IBM and Yara for farming. So IBM, Google for cloud platform, Amazon for web services. Of course, we have Microsoft Azure platform even. So there are high level as well as low level also. Whenever you are talking about AIaaS, we have high level services as well as lower level services. With the case of low level, you will have expert knowledge. So we will have classification, clustering, regression, representation learning, and reinforcement learning also. So everything comes intact. Whenever you are going to analyze the data, we are going to classify, we are going to cluster it, we are going to aggregate it, then we apply some regression techniques. We go for RL, reinforcement learning. Also, we go for representation learning also. So whenever you are going to process the information, we are going to collect the data. We are going to pre-process the data. Okay. We are going to remove all the unwanted components. Okay. We are going to train the data. We are going to test the data. We are going to validate the data, and we are going to optimize the parameters even. So everything comes with low level. With the case of high level, you can consider it as a strong AI. So as I told you, in the case of IBM, we have like a cognitive science, cognitive application in IBM. So I told you the key player is one like IBM. So IBM uses high level AIaaS. Okay. So we will have CNN, convolutional neural network. We have RNN, recurrent neural network, and we have ANN, artificial neural network. So everything comes with the higher level, higher end of AIaaS. So why use AI as a service? Of course, even in the applications, we have a multifold application. It is not a single fold application, but it is multifold. It has several dimensions. It has several parameters, and that is the reason even the investment cost of AI is huge. But of course, when you project about the future, definitely the benefits are huge than the investment. Yeah. So there are several benefits even. So there are cost effectiveness and lesser implementation time. Whenever you have to build it with the case of businesses, so as I told you, the major small disadvantage is the dependence on the service providers. But definitely businesses have to depend on the service providers in order to get the access. So that is the thing that we are going to enjoy. Of course, you can go with the reduced financial risks with the case of AI. The algorithms, the methods, the procedures, implementation, of course, it is little bit costly, but of course, if you compare it with the advantages, the benefits outweigh the implementation cost. Also, the system is transparent even. Of course, you can say maybe if there are 5 employees who are working, okay, maybe you need not have to disclose your salary to your other 4 employees, okay, but the AI is transparent. The cost, this is the cost. Work, this is the work. And the returns, this is the return. But of course, it is going to increase. So the system is completely transparent even. So users don't have to run a AI non-stop. So you'll have several procedures for you and for AI. And AI is scalable. AI is measurable. Even you can start it with the small projects and you can build some solutions according to it. Okay. You can customize your service. You can measure the project demand change. So that is the major advantage of AIaaS. And even with the case of digital assistants or maybe bots, we are using natural language processing. Of course, we use cognitive science, even as I told you with the case of IBM. So speech recognition, NLP, knowledge sharing, knowledge mapping, pattern recognition, translation, transcription, computer vision, emotion identification, okay, situation identification, everything comes with the cognitive APIs. Even with the ML frameworks, even we'll have custom templates, pre-built model, code-free interfaces. For example, if there is a situation like COVID, then it will try to develop a model and it will try to train the model. So every time COVID comes, we will have a model and we will try to train that particular model. So maybe the entire situation will be divided into one normal situation to COVID situation. So when you give the past experiences, Okay, we imagine okay, COVID will vanish by 2020, but it came up to 2021. Then it came up to 2022. So a model can be developed for COVID. A model can be developed for normal situation. So it is all about you will have a custom template for the ML services, pre-built model for COVID and for normal, and we will have code-free interfaces as well. We will have low code as well as no code for machine learning. So these are the challenges which are faced by AI as a services. So we'll have NLP, we'll have robotics, we'll have perception or understanding, we have knowledge sharing, we have cognitive services, we have neural networks, and we have planning as well. So advancements AI doesn't actually correlate with the expectations even, and definitely in the beginning it is very difficult or maybe very hard to achieve the potential of ML, but definitely in the forthcoming days as and when you try to practice, then advancements will outweigh the investment cost. So definitely when you are trying to build some software, okay, with the case of AIaaS, so it is not error free, it is not bug free. Okay, so it might create some problems, and definitely dependence on the service providers will definitely help you to achieve much more greater benefits. Okay, even with the small scale businesses, even definitely it will take some time for the people to understand its benefits, and of course you can transform the businesses in the larger sector. So there is reduced data security, reduced authentication problems even. So according to the Gartner's report, by 2024, AI will be handling 67% of all routine work. We may not have to have human beings to do all this work. And of course, smart businesses will have human beings. Of course, we'll have AI support even. Will have unlimited solutions with the case of AI. So there are some code even. So it's a hands-on training AI for banking sector with the case of procurement model. So what we do, we try to import the data, then definitely we'll insert this data for the data transformation. Of course, we try to import it in the CSV format. So from the Keras model, then we will be importing this trading history, pre-processing data. We try to analyze it, and we try to compute the X as well as Y components with it. So we train this particular model with the ends of dense networks. So we'll have linear prediction model even with the case of losses, and then we try to go with the prediction with the case of this rows as well as columns. How the data goes in with the models, how you are going to predict it according to the variations, so that we will calculate with the help of mean squared error. Okay, that is MSE, and then we try to visualize this prediction accuracy with the case of this show or maybe legend statement. Okay, so it will have like grid, label, and then plot values even. So that these are nothing but the parameters that you try to do it, and then you'll output it with the help of the scale things even. So you whenever you're talking about AIaaS, it's not like experts who should handle all the things. Like people, normal human beings can do it. Okay, so you need not have to give it for the third party even. So whenever you can understand the process, whenever you can analyze the process, you can build AIaaS in your company or maybe your organization, and definitely of course the data what you are dealing with, definitely it should be a high transparent quality data even, so only then it should be useful. And definitely it is predicted within 1 year or maybe 2 years, the economy will definitely bounce back after this COVID with a expected high growth rate. So that is actually possible if you try to continuously use AI as a service. Okay, and then of course in the banking sector, will have better customer service even, customer onboarding even in the improvement of the process. Of course, in order to fight with the risk problem, also with the fraud detection in the banking sector, also you can use AI as a service. So there is no much investment that is required. So that is the major advantage. Of course, a smaller disadvantage is the dependence on the ISP, internet service provider.